Om Sri Sai Ram. Sundara Mukha Shri Gajanana Ekadanta Sri Gajanana Prathamanamami Gajanana ऋषिमुने वन्दित गजानना हे ऋषिमुनि वन्दित गजानना Om Sri Sai Ram. I have often said that there is no reference point in the entire human history, recorded or even unrecorded, nor even in our greatest mythological books or scriptures, how to deal with divinity. Of course, many have that great fortune of being in proximity with this unique, unprecedented divine form, which he himself has told me that this form is immortal. This form is immortal. We do not know how to deal with this God. And he says, you'll have to love my uncertainty. That is the only way. Not only accept it, not only surrender to it, because we have no other options. But he said, you have to love my uncertainty. Just imagine in our worldly wise ways, if our beloved or tells us that, okay, I can tell you honestly that I love you, but you have to love my uncertainty, my unpredictability. You have to love it with joyful calm and loving trust. And those fortunate souls who had this blessed opportunity and grace to be in close proximity will tell you that how difficult it is for any arrogant mind, even we have little arrogance left in us, we can't deal with this divinity. He himself has demonstrated and proved this fact again and again and again and again. I have mentioned in different videos. I will just make a one-line reference to those. Once a student was sitting outside Swami's interview room in the portico while Swami was giving interview inside his room. This boy had come little late and he came and sat in meditation after Swami had left for the interview. And he was in divine meditative mood. An overseas devotee who had one particular unique doubt in his mind. He thought that he would ask this boy because this boy seemed to be very enlightened. Some boys with Swami who are for years, you can read their aura. They are of different level, no doubt on that. As I mentioned, one DIG told Swami that your boys are gems. Swami said, not all. Many are gems, but few are really gems. Swami can joke anything with these boys. We dare not interpret with our limited minds, but they are real divine beings. I have interacted with boys right from 70s. There is no doubt on that. So this foreigner actually was waiting that he would ask this question. After the interview is over, Swami comes there and tells this boy, "Why are you sitting here? You are wasting your time. Go." And this boy kept smiling at Swami. Swami got little upset. Are you not listening? Go, don't waste your time here, all the time sitting here. Get out, get lost. Like that, something he told in Telugu, an English mix. This boy still kept smiling and looking at Swami without moving an inch from there. Now, this was becoming too much for this overseas devotee to bear, because Swami is directly telling him to get lost and go out, and this boy is not moving an inch. As if very upset and angry, Swami just turned back and went to his interview room. And this man apparently asked the boy, "How dare you disobey Swami? I thought you were such nice boy doing meditation on Swami, and all the time I consider you to be of that level." Now this boy with folded hands humbly said, "Sir, when I was sitting here, when Swami was in the interview room, I was meditating upon Swami. And Swami told me from my heart, when I come out, I will ask you to leave, but you should not move from here." And he did exactly what he told. And I had to respond exactly what he had commanded me. Then this overseas devotee understood. Even his doubt was cleared, because all the time he was thinking on these lines. Many times we hear certain things from Swami's mouth directly or through some his authentic channels, that Swami said this, Swami said that. Swami will tell one group that today evening I am leaving for Whitefield. Another group on the same day, he will tell, "No, no, I am here only. Don't leave. Be here. I am here for another 10 days. This is the experience of most of the devotees. And Swami would joke. If anybody asks about his program, he will say, "I don't know my program. Go and ask ladies." How to deal with this God? And that is what one overseas NRI devotee asked Swami. "Swami, aap Bhagwan hai, you are God. Why you have to do all this drama, this natakam? Sometimes you speak which is not true. We know it. Still you do that drama. Why? Why you need to do all that?" Swami said, "Krishna se kam natak karta hu. I do this natakam, this drama, less than Krishna." But actually we all know that he is beyond all that Krishna and any other god put together. He would act, as I mentioned in one of the videos, that I am feeling cold, I want to leave for Whitefield, I want to leave for Puttaparthi, when he is sitting in his room, in the interview room. And he would not listen to anybody. So people around him start believing, actually, And the people around him are also sages. They are not any ordinary mortals. Even they are deluded in believing that Swami has lost his power of comprehension in last days when he fell down once, twice, thrice, one surgery, second surgery, third surgery, and then people started thinking, and he will be on the wheelchair and he will talk. He will not be able to even take his kerchief to his mouth, and he will talk something which is not understood by anyone. Only his boys devoted to him, they will understand his body language. His eyebrow left or right raised, they will understand, interpret the body language. And once he crossed all the limits of deluding the entire crowd, he made Anil Kumar sir announce. First, he told the big officials from the ashram and from the university to make this announcement. But they very politely refused because they knew what Swami is telling is not possible. And being officials, they didn't want to get into any controversy. Because now, after this was on 2006 or 7, all this media and all then becomes big official thing. And then Swami will be the first person to tell them, why did you do this? Once my friend Ram Ratnani was given so many interviews. He will go to Swami. Swami will call him how many times. He asked about some keys for Whitefield or some ashram keys, allotment of some room. So Swami said, yes, 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 go and collect keys from Mr. from Kutum Rao. I will tell him and you go and collect. Don't worry. So he was so happy. Immediately after the interview, he comes to Mr. Kutum Rao's office telling that Swami has told me just now. And so you please give me the keys. He said, Mr. Ratnani, I trust you. You are a very honest man. What you are telling must be true. Swami must have told you what he has told you, what you tell me that he has told you. But Swami has to tell me. Because they have the experience. If they give keys like this, then Swami will be the first person to tell him, what do you think? It is your father's property. You gave the keys without asking me. So how to deal with this divinity? You can at the most understand his body language like the boys. That too only boys who are of that enlightened position. But how to understand his mind, a divine mind? Sages and Rishimunis who did tapas for centuries, they could not understand. That is why he has given this blessing actually. Learn to love my uncertainty. If we apply our logics and scientific reasoning and rationalizing whatever he says or does, we are gone. We can't deal with divinity with our limited mind. Swami said, with your hands, you can hold a knife and fork to pick up your dishes from your plate. But with the same knife and same fork in your hand, you cannot hold your own hands. Because it is the hands that are holding the knife and the fork. So simple. You can comprehend, you can analyze, do whatever your scientific research is on this creation, because that power I have given you. But I am holding it in my hands. So you cannot comprehend me, the hands which are holding you. As I mentioned, some great politician may say, with all the executive authorities, that everything is in my hands. Even his bhakta will say that he can do anything, he has everything in his hands. But Swami says, maybe you say that everything is in my hands, but your hand is not in your hand. You cannot even lift your hand without my sankalpa. And he has proved it. Literally. That video is also there of a student. He could not lift his hand when Swami made this sankalpa that he cannot move his hand. How to deal with this avatar? Love. Love him intensely, selflessly, without any agenda. That is why again and again I give the example of Shabrima. Love him like Shabri. She had not seen Rama. She had not heard of Rama before. She had not photographed or Aadhaar card, ID card of Rama. She was just informed by the realized souls, the sages, that Rama would come and pass through this. When Swami told Mr. Anil Kumar sir to announce during that period 2006-7 that all the people should go in the evening to the airport, they will have Vishwa Rupa Darshan. I was there, my mother, old mother, she could not walk. She was nearly blind. Everyone, without any exception, entire Puttaparthi and surrounding villages, including the overseas devotees, the directors of hospital, super hospital, trust people, everyone, they walked, they drove in cars. There was no place to drive, jam packed through bullock carts, wheelchairs. When Swami is making announcement through Mr. Anil Kumar, who would not believe him? Swami himself came in his car and he drove around, and in that crowd, I don't know his grace because I take his word very literally, right? Whatever he told my son, your father is a doctor. I was 40, a civil engineer. I don't know ABCD about medicines. In fact, I used to run away from the hospital. My elder brother was a doctor, my father in law was a doctor. I can't bear the smell of hospitals, the medicines. I'm allergic to it, like. And Swami tells my son, your father is a doctor. My son thinks that Swami is joking. He's taking me to be my elder brother who is a doctor and who has served in Swami's hospital, who looks like me. But I took it, Swami's word, as final. And when Swami said, you are a doctor, you will become doctor to doctors, do homeopathy. 1 month he made me homeopathy doctor. He even called Dr. George Vittelkos from Greece. He stayed with me for 2 days in Puttaparthi, in ashram. Swami spoke to him, he sat in portico. And 2 days he trained me, and when he saw me taking up the case and giving the medicines, I was just 3 months old student of homeopathy. He said, Harish, your understanding of homeopathy is just excellent. And incidentally, he is also a civil engineer who is now world-class homeopath. He gives training to MD, MS doctors. He has got his own academy. He has written his personal letters and sent books to me. You have to believe in his word. But love is uncertainty. When I failed to understand his command in the interview 1990, I was insisting that Swami, we just want to go and sell off my... Shut up. Understood. When God says shut up means surrender and shut up. Don't apply your logic. Our logic mind will give every worldly reasoning that I have this property and go and sell and settle and come out honorably. But this God says, no, don't go, don't sell. In worldly wise logic, it is unacceptable. But he knows. That's why he said. When he said shut up means surrender and shut up. Till that point in time, I knew only to surrender. But I used to argue with him like a child. You take a child to a movie and the child will eat your head. Why this is not happening? Why the director is not doing this? But this God said, surrender and shut up. That is next step, next stage. And this beautiful Lord, how he acts. When I cried for his darshan after so-called his samadhi, I knew this God cannot go to samadhi. That is pakka. Because every moment he'll be doing this, that, no sweat on his, even in air condition, he will go on. Because that is his language, divine language. We don't understand. How can he go to samadhi? Impossible. I knew it. You have to know from your heart, not from here. When you are dealing with divinity, you have to think from here. When you are dealing with world, you have to think from here. God has given us head and heart. We should know when to use what. We always do the opposite. We do many blunders in our worldly matters and relationship because we think from here, emotionally carried away, and we do blunders. While dealing with God, we apply all your logic and brains. Again, we do blunders. We miss so many chances. Many have left because they use this with Bhagwan. We have to understand a faithful wife, I repeat, a faithful servant, a faithful dog. They understand the body language of their master. But in this avatar, it is not that we have to understand only his body language. We have to understand even his divine language. For that, the only way out is pure love, innocent love, unquestioning love. It is very simple to be great, but it is very difficult to be simple. You have to be very simple and innocent, like Shabrima. Again, I repeat. They had enlightened faith and enlightened love. Their love and their faith was not blind, not even emotional. It was an enlightened love and enlightened faith. That can come only with His grace. There is no other way out. Love is the only power. Love is the only way. And love Him and be channels of His love. Forget, we don't have capacity to love. Take it for granted in this Kali age. Whatever love we call love is all contaminated. Ganga मैली हो चुकी है. The Ganges are polluted, like our hearts are polluted, minds are polluted. And it is not our fault. This is the present situation. We have to accept it at least, sincerely. That is why always bank upon His love, His confidence, His peace, and which He is offering from front. He's coming forward. Exchange offer. Give me all your negativity, all your worries, your tensions, your stresses, even your sins, what you call sins. Leave it at my lotus feet. At least do that. And take from me in exchange my love, my joy, my peace, my confidence, my happiness, smiling all the time. Why you want to question that offer? Buddhi ledu. Once, coming just last thing related to this, we came from Kodaikanal in 1991 after enjoying 1 month Padaseva proximity with Bhagwan. He had promised Sumana, I mentioned in that interview, that he will give her admission. So we came from Kodai to Trai and then summer course, and then Swami was in Puttaparthi. I was sitting in the first row. Now we have to get admitted, but admission means only Swami can do that. And all the parents, devotees, most of the parents were there with that request. So Swami goes around, he tells everybody, मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ, मैं एडमिशन में, I don't interfere in admissions and all, I can't do nothing. He is coming to me and I have a small letter and on my knees I tell Swami, Sumana's admission. He is holding my letter, taking my letter of my prayers for Sumana's admission. मैं एडमिशन कुछ नहीं, आई कांट डू एडमिशन, बट ही इज गिविंग दिस, ही इज होल्डिंग द लेटर एंड टेलिंग मी you have to be alert and awake to read his body language, his mind language. Immediately after Mangal Aarti, I rushed to primary school. And as I entered, the headmistress auntie is there as if waiting for me, as if. Because they also have that hotline connection with Swami. No questioning, nothing. She looks at Sumana, yes, yes. You tomorrow come at 12 o'clock and you come with the luggage and everything. Some simple medical test we'll have and you leave her here. That's all. She is admitted. And no questions, no test, nothing. And for Harsha, 3 years we tried. Every time she will say, come next year. This is how divinity works. And first, see God, how he keeps his word. He told Harsha, come here next year. When he cried that, Swami, I want to be in Puttaparthi. And next day he called Colonel Jogarao and everybody next day, principal, auntie, everybody. From Uti and Puttaparthi, shifted the entire school to Puttaparthi. We thought next year means next academic year. Everybody, and he gave different reasons to them, official reasons. But Colonel Jawala revealed to me after few days, he asked me, Harish, you got interview, what happened? Because he was very affectionate towards me. So I told him the entire interview. He said, now I understand why Swami has taken decision. He told me. He used to take dinner with Swami. Swami told, Swami, why we to shift like this? Entire school you want us to shift? Entire school with furniture and everything. Closing down. That boy cried. He said, your son must be something very special. For sake of one boy. He told him and he has told me also, for your sake I can change earth into sky, sky into earth. And that stands valid for each and every child of Swami, each and every devotee of Swami. This God can go to any extent for sake of his devotees. Can we respond to such love with at least this much faith? Enlightened faith, not our reasoning and arguments, nothing. Like Shabri, simple, innocent faith of a child. Surrender and shut up. Jai Guru Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba Ji ki Jai.